Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a mountain painting. I have some marks on here and stuff, but we don't necessarily have to follow them. I was just trying to get some ideas. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. All right, looks like we're ready to get started. I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo blue. I usually use a lot of Prussian blue here lately. I don't know why, but I do. But today we're going to do a little phthalo blue. We're going to start here at the top. You can see my palette. I've already got me some different types of mountain colors mixed up here. And we're just going to start up here at the top, work down the sides. Throw in a dark spot here and there. I do have liquid white across the top of this. I don't have any on my mountains. I got a little bit here and some in my water. But I don't have any in my mountains. I want it to be a little lighter behind my mountains, so this will be a good way to do this. Make it light behind the mountain. I don't want the sky to be real bright today. So it's not going to be bright. We don't want it bright. Kind of a light sky. I think that's probably good right there. Let's get the old knife. I'm going to start. I got a mountain further away there, further away there. That one is closer. So for my furthest away mountain, I'm going to use the lighter color. And we are just going to try to shape this mountain with this color. Remember, this is dry. These mountains are dry here, so I'll have to scrub it a little bit more. But that's okay. And the reason I do it dry a lot of times is because it makes the paint break a little easier. A lot of people that try to paint mountains have trouble making their paint break, and I'm one of them when I first started, especially when I first started. I've got it figured out a little bit now, but when I first started, and it took me a while to figure it out. But this helps. Don't put liquid white on here. I mean, if you have trouble with it, just don't do it, because you don't have to. The paint will break just fine without it. I do like liquid white as far as the bottom part goes, because you can blend it real well, and that's why I got a little bit here across the bottom. But as far as the rest of the mountain goes, it's just dry. People don't know you don't have to use it on the mountains. So now I'm going to start to, actually let me go ahead and blend that out. I got me a dirty brush here, and I think it's okay to use. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out a little bit. Pull it out and get it over with. See, I'm hitting the liquid white that's across the bottom, and that's why it looks okay right here. It's blending just fine. But the mountain itself has none. And we're just going to pull this on down here, blend it out, soften it up. Now let's get the big boy in the middle. I am going to use the dark color that I have here, and hopefully I have enough. Oh, let's start right here. Let's put a bump there. Let's put a little bump there. Let's make this bump a little bigger. come across the top. Make it a little taller. Yeah, making your paint break is a real issue for a lot of people, and it, like I said, it was for me. It is for everybody that's just starting to do it, as far as I know, unless you're extremely talented or something. Because it can get kind of aggravating trying to make your paint break, and you just don't seem to ever be able to get it to do it. But I figured out if you don't use the liquid white or liquid clear on the mountain itself, it makes life a little easier. And having said that, means you got to put a little bit more paint on here, because it's not going to spread as easy. And that kind of stuff don't bother me at all. If I need to use more paint, I'll use it. So that's what I'm doing. I am gathering my paint. I'm scraping it off, just like you're supposed to. You don't want excess paint up here. So I'm using what I can. That might be enough right there. And wipe my knife off, get me a brush. Now let's pull it out and see what it's going to look like. If we don't like it, we'll change it, because this is the time to change it if you don't like it. I gotta make sure I'm happy with the top here. I'm not sure about the top area. I'll just pull it out and take a look at it. The other day I made a mountain that kind of looked like a volcano, and this one almost looks the same. I might have to change the top of it a little. But this is the time to do it. Don't wait until later. Yeah, let's see here. I might have to do something with it. It looks a little... I just don't like the way it looks right now. Let's bring that up a little higher. I could bring this up a little higher. Bring this bump out a little more. That looks a little better. You got to make sure you like it. No point in painting it if you don't like it. I think it might work. Let me wipe my knife off and pull this out one more time right here. Pull that down. Go ahead and pull all this in front of that mountain just to be doing it, because I'm not sure what's going to happen down here just yet. Let me get my knife. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little brown today. I don't want too much, and I'm going to stick some white in it. And this is going to be a color I'm going to use today on some of this. Pretty dirty white looking color. Got me some paint on here. Let's see what happens. And another thing I do that other people don't do, some people like Bob Ross, he'll just go whoosh. You know, it's kind of hard to do unless you've done 1,000 paintings. So I give it the same exact effect, except I'm not going whoosh. I kind of jab at it. And it gives the appearance of the paint breaking, which is really what you want. That's all that counts. You want the final outcome to be what you want. It don't really matter how you get there, you just get there, right? As long as the paint breaks the way you want it to, that's what counts. See, actually I can feel the paint pulling off my knife because I don't have any liquid white on here, or liquid clear. It's just actually pulling off my knife. And that's good. So we're going to keep doing this. I'm not sure how far down to come quite yet. So we're just going to work it until we feel like we've done enough. I'll have to make me some more of this here in a second, I can tell. Let's start right here. I'm almost out of this. I'm going to have to make some. Let me make a little bit more. I'll wipe my knife off. I still got some brown here. It's probably plenty. Get me some more white without getting into that blue. I don't always get a little roll either. I probably should do that. Sometimes I get a little too much paint on my stuff. I'm just barely touching it. Like they say, I'm really literally barely touching it. When you barely touch it, you get a pretty nice effect from it. We're just going to come on down. Like Bob Barker says, come on down. I might come over and meet this. Stand back and take a look here. Okay, that don't look too bad. Let me get me a fresh pile of white here, and I'm going to show you something real quick. I ran out of white. I have a bunch of white, but boy, it takes a lot. I had a bunch of white here already, and still ain't enough. So I'll get an extra load of white. What I'm going to do now is wipe my knife off, make it clean. Give me a good clean knife. And I'm going to take pure white, and I'm going to touch over some of this. And let's see how that looks. See if it makes any kind of a difference. I don't want a bunch, but I do want some. I don't know if you can tell. I mean, I can see a difference, but from the camera, I don't know if you can or not. But this is giving it an extra color. We got dark. We got brown and white. And now we got pure white. Just giving it some extra flavor. Because you almost can't put enough color on something. Almost. You can, but you'd have to try real hard to overdo color. Color is good. Variety of color. Variety is a good thing. I think that looks okay. I got to keep wiping my knife off because I'm picking up colors that I don't want. Okay, now let's do our shadow. For the back side, this is what I used. I think all I'm going to do is just get me some and add some white to it. Make sure I got enough white. Maybe a little more. Let's see how this is going to look. Might be all right. Could have been maybe a little darker. I don't know. If it needs to be darker, we'll do it. We'll do that. Whatever we got to do, we'll do. See that side, I'll put a little bit more of the blue in it. This side here looks a little better. Overall, it don't look bad, so we'll just probably leave that. Now I'm going to use this dark color that I made this mountain with, and I'm going to add some white to it. And hopefully this makes a difference. Let's take a look. Maybe a little lighter, maybe. Is that looking all right? I mean, as far as that goes, I could even take some of this color that I used. That'll lighten it up a little. Looks all right so far, I think. See, I'm using kind of a jabbing motion to make my paint break. I'm just kind of touching it and pulling it. For those of you that have trouble doing that, this is the solution. I'll stand back and take a look. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put some water in here. I'm not 100% sure where exactly I want it yet. I might go ahead and just use some of these collars I have already. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, for water, I mean, it's probably okay. Maybe a little lighter. Put a little white in it, especially toward the top. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in, and we'll figure out where it goes here in a minute. I'm just using some white and some of this mountain color that I had. I'll bring it, make sure I haven't bring it over far enough. And I want to start getting a little darker toward the bottom here. And I'm using that mountain color. Actually, the color for the back mountains is what I'm using. So that's what we're using on this for now. Just kind of streak it up a little bit. All right. I think that's okay. got to make sure I've got it over far enough. I just don't know how far over to bring it yet. Hey guys, I got to apologize for something. For some reason, my camera shut off on me while I was filming this. I was going to make this a full-length tutorial, but apparently I can't now because you've missed some of it. But all I did was I put my water in here. You may have seen me doing that. And I just formed my land. I took a 1-inch brush and I just formed out some lands, all I really did. That's what you missed. So now I'm gonna make some bushes over in here. Fill that in a little bit. I'm just gonna make some bushes come down right here. I'm gonna take some dark, some black and green. And I'm just gonna start piling in some bushes. And we're going to pull them out here in a minute with our highlights. It's going to get a little darker as we're coming down. Because the closer you get, the darker everything should be. And we're going to do one more round of bushes here. All the way down to the corner. Right, and on this side I think I'm going to put some trees. I believe is what I'm going to do. Put some trees on it. Let me get me a different brush here, a cleaner brush. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and brighten this. See if I can't brighten this grass up a little bit. The sun is coming down this way. So we're going to go ahead and brighten this up a little bit right here. You want to leave some of the dark stuff showing, of course. And I'm trying to bring my brush to a chiseled edge. And I'm going to have to go back and look at my camera in a minute to make sure it's still on. Oh my, technology. See, it's darker on this side, and that's the way we want it to be. But the sun might be hitting a few spots here and there. So we'll put a little bit over here. Don't want to make it feel, don't want to leave it out, make it feel lonely like we forgot about it. So we'll put a little bit here and there, just on the top area. Let me set this down a second. Stand back and look. All right. So now, let me go ahead. Just work on these a little bit. Just put a little highlights here and there on these. Wipe your brush off. I might have to set this down because and I'm going to because I got to keep wiping my brush. We just want some pops of color in here. Just don't overdo. Just a little pop or two of color. Wipe my brush off. This is pure cad yellow light is what I'm using. And that's all we're using on that. Now let me take my brush. Uh-oh. This may have been the wrong brush. We do want some reflections. See if I can get them with this. I'm going to have to put a little bit of color on here. There we go. Pull this out just a little. Get to the bottom easier that way. Pull out some color. Actually, I'm putting some of this mountain color back on my brush. That's why I say don't throw your paint away. You can always use it for something. Let's pull this on down. This is just a shadow. Reflection, I'm sorry. See that spot there? I'll have to hit that again, which is no problem. Let's make this a little darker down here. Where the bottom needs to be a little darker. And let me get my other brush. I'm just going to kind of blend this out a little bit. Okay. Tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put some rocks here and there. I think this painting needs some rocks. And then I'm going to give it a nice touch of color by putting something real bright and red in here. I'm not sure where yet, but this painting needs some color. I think I'm going to put some rocks right in here. Sometimes that's what a painting needs, is some good old rocks. Just randomly put some here and there. This one here will be kind of dark. I'll make this one a little bigger. Maybe put one right in here, just a big one. Just laying there. Laying there not doing nothing. Maybe another one here. Okay. And I'll pull them out here in a minute. Make them look a little better. Now let's put a little bit more color on some of these rocks. We'll go ahead and get them going. I'm going to take some white. Take some white. It's going to blend with this brown that I have on here. And that's why I'm using pure white, because I know it'll blend. Kind of get these rocks started the way we want them. Get them formed up, get some color on them. And we'll do this one here now. Take a little yellow ochre. Throw some ochre in here on it. Gotta keep wiping your brush because it's very wet. Some ochre on this one. Let me wipe this brush off here real fast. This one's got a lot of black on it, but I need to put down a dark before I put the bright red on it. I got my paper towels right here in front of me. As you can see, good place for them, ain't it? Let's take some black, some green, right here. I just need some color. Need something going on. I don't know if you can see that, but boy, that is some red. This is cad red light. This is some kind of red right here, buddy. It's the brightest red I've ever seen. Stand back and look at it real quick. Actually, I said that, but I really wanted to check and see if my camera was still on. Well, there's nothing worse than painting and you find out your camera's on. Oh, that's just not good at all. I'll set this down so I can steady myself a little bit. Holding my breath while I'm doing this. No, I'm kidding. I think I do really sometimes. I'm trying to hold as still as I can while I'm doing this. I'm not sure you're supposed to hold your breath though, but I think I catch myself doing that sometimes. I'm kind of turning my brush as I'm going along here so I can lay more paint on it because this is wet, you know. And when it's wet, you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's try this side. Okay, that's not working well. Might have to get in your way. I'm gonna try this from a different angle. So I can turn my brush. All right, I think I wasn't gonna put a tree over here, but you know what? It needs one. I think I'm gonna put a big pine tree right here. So I'm gonna take some black, and I got a combination of raw umber and Van Dyke brown, perhaps. It's brown. Let's just say it. Let's just put it that way. It's brown. I'm going to put it right in here. I'll come all the way down here. Let me take a look. It's kind of bugging me now. Burnt umber and raw umber. My fault. Let's take a little green. Let's throw some green in here. And let's get ready to put this tree in here. It doesn't have to be a solid tree. I may leave a little space here and there. It don't have to be a big wide tree. I just need something in here, especially to fill this area up here. And this is what we're going to use, big old pine tree. I may bring it all the way down. think I might, all the way. See, it don't have to be a big tree. I may even make this one big tree and get rid of these skinnier ones here, because I'm not sure I like those. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's put one big tree right here. Bring it all the way down. Black and green is what I'm using. Black and green. And we'll just cover these two up. I just didn't like the way they were looking. If you don't like something, just fix it. Fix it and get it over with. Don't leave it, because you'll be sorry. You'll look back at your painting and think, man, I wished I'd fixed that. Yeah, I'll put another one, little one right here. Smaller one. Yeah, me and my wife kept our grandkids this weekend. Just took them back a while ago. Took them back home. Had a lot of fun with them. They're always fun. They're precious. One's 12, one's 7, one's 4. You can imagine it's fun. They keep you busy. All right, I went ahead and put me a stump right here and a fallen tree. And now I'm going to work on some shadows. I'll put me a shadow area underneath. Because it looks like it needs it. If you don't, it'll look like it's suspended in midair and look kind of crazy. I'm using Prussian blue and black. And I'm going to do the same thing down in here. It's got to have some form of a shadow. And let's go ahead and put our mid-tone color on here. This is just a mid-tone. It's got to be a little greener. It's almost black looking, so we don't want it to be black. We want to have some green. And that's what we're doing. Let's do this one. There's one more thing I'd like to do. I'd like to go over this grass, make it a little brighter, some of this grass area. Especially right in here. I want to brighten this up a little bit. Whoa, maybe not quite that bright. My brush went crazy on me. But that actually don't look too bad. It's one of those happy mistakes, right? I didn't mean to push down so hard, but it wound up being okay. And I'll just let it kind of run off into the distance here. Hey, I think that looks much better there. Sometimes you got to go over these highlights. And the sun's coming in this way, so it is catching a portion of this. Spots here and there. Let me get this one area right in here. And it's probably catching some of this. the sun is. Let me put a little bit right there. And I'll just touch this area a little bit because it's kind of dark right here. I don't like it too awful dark. Just a touch. Stand back and take a look. I'm probably going to throw a few more highlights right here real quick before I let you go. I'm just going to use some pure white. Pure white. I'm going to go ahead and highlight these real quick. Stump. I'm going to spin my brush. Just going to make it a little brighter, not a whole lot. Just a little. That's all we want, is just a little. Now the log. See if we can run this across without causing a catastrophe. I think that looks fine. All right, it looks like a wrap. Well, I hope you enjoyed this painting. It's not too hard. I mean, once you get the mountain part down, the rest of this stuff, you just make things up in your head, basically. I appreciate you watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.